So in a year of crazy acquisitions, we are once again getting another crazy acquisition, as it looks like Embracer Group has entered an agreement to acquire Eidos, Crystal Dynamics, and Square Enix Montreal for $300 million. So this is a part of the Square Enix brand, part of the Square Enix franchise. Games such as Tomb Raider from Crystal Dynamics is now being sold off for $300 million. And this is a pretty big acquisition, not in terms of money, but as in terms of IP and what that means for Square Enix moving forward. Now, I'm a massive Square Enix fan because I'm a massive fan of Final Fantasy games like Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts. I really love the RPGs that Square Enix puts out, but a lot of their games lately have been very hit and miss. Games like Avengers, Babylon's Fall, a lot of those type of games that just come out and they just aren't doing very well financially and or critically for that matter. So it looks like for $300 million, Square Enix has sold off basically a back catalog of games, including the Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kane, 50 other backlog games from Square Enix Holdings. They're going to pay off all Square Enix debt, and they're basically going to be getting all the workers, all the employees that are with those companies are also going to be going over to this Embracer Group that basically entered the group. This is not like a massive gaming company. It's like more of an independent buy. It's not like Sony buying someone, or like how Sony bought Bungie and Microsoft bought Bethesda and Activision. It's not like these big companies swallowing these little companies. This is just like little smaller things being sold out, which could be good in the long run, as long as the people that picked up these IPs do something really good with it. I was really hoping that Crystal Dynamics would have moved over to Microsoft after the Activision acquisition. That way we possibly could be getting Tomb Raider on the Xbox and they could have done more with it, because I think Crystal Dynamics is one of the best companies out there, but the last game that they just produced for Square Enix just didn't work well. The Avengers game didn't work well because they wanted to make it a live service game and not really concentrate on something like the Spider-Man games, where it was a very story-based game. So there's a lot of stuff coming out on what exactly this holds. Once the deal goes through, the Embracers will have more than 14,000 employees, 10,000 game developers, and 124 internal studios. It's also confirmed has more than 230 games in development at those studios, and more than 30 are AAA titles. So this is pretty big, and the news comes shortly after Crystal Dynamics announced it was developing a new Tomb Raider game for Unreal Engine 5. So the future of that game, we don't really know the plan of that. The Deus Ex games, that is something that's part of that. The Legacy of Kane game. So a lot of big IP games coming from that, and I'm okay with Square Enix selling that, because I think Square Enix has kind of dropped the ball. They're very hit and miss on games lately. You get games and like I said, Avengers, Babylon Fall, not good games, but then you get something good like Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and then we got Final Fantasy 16 coming out. They're doing good with their RPGs. Just everything else isn't really doing well. And hopefully by them selling this part of the company, that they can then go in and concentrate on more on what Square Enix was really good at and what was their bread and butter and their moneymaker, and hopefully they can concentrate on that. So this is a huge, very huge acquisition, not in terms of money. Like, you don't see this going for like $1 billion or $7 billion or $70 billion. $300 million is very small compared to a lot of the acquisitions, whether it be Bungie, Bethesda, Activision, so on and so forth. But in terms of what this could mean for both Square Enix and the Embracer groups, that Crystal Dynamics and all these other companies that have gone away from Square Enix now, it can mean a lot in terms of it being very big for those companies and for gamers and what type of titles we're going to be getting moving on into the future. So it's a very, very big acquisition, just not very big in terms of money. Square Enix wants to sell this stuff out because they want to pay more attention to, if I can find the actual quote here, Square Enix says they want to utilize this to pretty much go more into cloud gaming and stuff like that. and a lot of gamers automatically roll their eyes like cloud gaming. But cloud gaming is not something that we should automatically just brush off as obsolete just because Google Stadia and other things don't work. Because you see where Xbox, if you're an Xbox fan and you have Xbox Ultimate Game Pass, you can see where cloud gaming really comes in handy. I don't use xCloud all the time, but if there's a game coming out and I'm interested in it, I will stream it with xCloud, and if I like it, then I would then download the game. So it allows you to really try games before you download them to your hard drive and waste all that time downloading and deleting. Plus, there's some games out there that you don't mind playing through cloud because they're smaller type games. You're not getting that AAA experience, so it doesn't matter to really stream those type of games. So before gamers automatically just roll their eyes like cloud gaming, oh my god, that is the future of gaming. Whether we want to admit it or not, the future of gaming is cloud gaming. It might not be next year, it might not be 5 years from now, but it is something that is very, very prevalent going further, and Square Enix kind of wants to jump on that train, whether they want to, take that money and invest in NFTs or anything like that, like IP, like Bitcoin type stuff. That's some rumors going around. That's yet to be seen. But I do think it's a smart idea because I think Square Enix really wasted what Crystal Dynamics can do after they got off that wonderful Tomb Raider trilogy that they did. They kind of got away from that. They had them do the Avengers game. There was so much promise. They dropped the ball with it. So hopefully Square Enix, by selling this, they can get financially out of debt, go back to what was making Square Enix popular and what made them so good. And now these other companies can flourish under these new owners, and hopefully we get better AAA games across the board. So I think it's a good thing, but only time will tell. But I wonder what you guys think. Be sure to leave your comments in the comment box below. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Until next time, as always, I am Robert Storms, and that is my opinion.